Oceans, all of you know, very large saline water depressions. Okay, large interconnected body of salt water is oceans. Any doubt in this? Large interconnected body of salt water is called as oceans. Why it is interconnected? Because all oceans are connected. Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Antarctic, Arctic are all connected. So they are large saline water depressions. Large saline water depressions. Saline water depressions. Okay. So we have 5 oceans: Pacific, second is Atlantic, third is Indian Ocean. Already you know this. I have to give the introduction. Antarctic Ocean. Okay, fifth one is Arctic. We have 5 oceans, large interconnected body of salt water, and they are large saline water depressions. Clear to all. So oceans nearly have a depth of 3,700 meters, average depth. 3,700 meters, average depth. Okay. Nearly 1.35 billion cubic kilometers of water. Billion cubic meters. BCM, billion cubic meters of waters are found in oceans. Okay. Oceans carry nearly 1.35 billion cubic meters of water. We all know, if you take the entire water as 100%, 97% of the water is saline, 3% is fresh. Majority of the water, world's water, is in ocean. So 97% of the Earth's water is saline, found in oceans and seas today. Oceans and seas. So oceans play a very important role in our water cycle. Correct? They are a very important part of our water cycle. Why I am saying water cycle? Because every day the sunlight falls on the ocean, water evaporates, correct, from liquid to gaseous form. The water vapor condenses in the sky to form clouds and come back as rain, precipitation. Since majority of the Earth's surface is under water, it rains more over the ocean than continents. It rains more over the oceans than continent, because 71% of the Earth's surface is what? Under water. Majority of the Earth's surface is underwater, so we receive more rainfall over the ocean than continents. Please remember this. So oceans play a very important role in Earth's water cycle, hydrological cycle, H2O cycle. Please remember this. And water has very high specific heat capacity, so it can store energy in large amounts. So ocean water, I am talking about ocean water, or in general just water, very high specific heat capacity. All of you know, specific heat capacity is the amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of substance by 1 degree Celsius. Specific heat capacity is very high. I was discussing this, land, water. Land specific heat capacity is low, whereas compared to water, water is very high. So water takes more time to heat up, more time to cool down. Specific heat capacity is very high, so it can store tremendous amount of energy. So oceans are storehouse of energy. That is reason global warming has a negative influence on globe. If all the water heats up, that means we are all done. Because of heat, oceans can absorb large amount of heat and store it for a long time. Correct? Influencing more evaporation, more cyclones. You got it? More water sports, tornadoes type. It can cause a lot of damage to us. So that is the reason we are seeing increased precipitation in many parts of the world because of large amount of heat stored in the oceans. Why cyclones have become more frequent? Why cyclones have become more strong now? Global warming की वजह से. because oceans can store that energy, and in turn it can give us these natural disasters. The reason floods have increased, landslides have increased because of the torrential rainfall, cloudburst. Those incidents have increased now. Okay. So as a result, oceanography as a topic is very important for us because majority of the Earth's surface is underwater. It can contribute a lot of energy to the atmosphere. So oceans influence atmosphere as well as continents. Please write. Oceans influence atmosphere also, means the air in the troposphere, and they can influence land also. So they can influence both land and atmosphere. So please remember this. So oceans can influence atmosphere, that is troposphere, first layer of the atmosphere, and also they can influence the continents around. So oceans play a very important role, okay, shaping geography around the world. So please remember this. Graphy, the second word, graphy, means description. Description of oceans is called as oceanography. Scientific description of ocean. Please write. Scientific description of ocean is called as oceanography. Scientific description of ocean is called as oceanography. So now all of you know what introduction to oceanography. So we have to describe how the oceans are, okay. So notice this, we are all living where? On the continents. All of you don't write anything, just see. We are all living here, on the continents here. Okay. Here. So this is the shelf, continental shelf. This is the slope. This is the trench. This is the ocean floor. See how it looks. So this is how the ocean's depression looks like. Rainwater, melting of ice, glaciers, say water, correct, river water, all flows into this depression, filling up the depressions with water. Every time more glaciers melt, more water comes into the ocean in the form of rivers. So as a result, the sea level has been rising slowly. So now, as of now, the water is here, up to here. Notice this. So this is a part of the continent under the water. Earlier the sea level was here. Earlier the sea level was here. Earlier the sea level was very low. Because of the melting of glaciers, ice everywhere. Because of the rivers, because of rain. The depression is now filled with water. You can see here. Now the sea level has reached here. Some of you might ask, sir, why the water is saline then? You are saying rainwater only have collected here. Glacial water has collected here. You are saying river water has collected here. Then how it is saline? Because of the minerals dissolved. Rocks contain minerals. Soil contains minerals which dissolve. When they dissolve, the salts get dissolved in the form of solution. Sodium chloride, magnesium sulfate. Salt compounds are found here. Okay. So that is the reason most of the ocean water here contains various salt compounds in solution form, in the form of solution. So that is the reason ocean water is saline. Okay, please remember this. So this part of the continent under the water is called a shelf. Continental shelf, like a bookshelf. Like a shelf here. This is a shelf. Bookshelf. Or the shelf you are keeping, the board. That one. Below this is the slope. Because it is dipping down into the water. Slope. Continental slope. Because it is part of the continent. But sloping down. This is rise. Land is rising again. Continental rise. These three are called as continental margin. Because they are in the adjacent to the continent. Fringe of the continent. Continental fringe. Continental margin. Then further this side, trench. The deepest part of the trench, deep. This is the ocean floor. It is deep in the sea, abyssal floor. Please remember this, abyssal floor. Ocean floor or abyssal plain, we call it as. Abyssal floor or abyssal plain. Abyss means what? Very deep. Deep sea plain. Okay, like this we have. You can notice this. This is how it looks like. See here, all of you. Let's say we have Volcanoes, imagine volcanoes, magma, underwater volcanoes. The magma comes up. The magma comes from the asthenosphere. Then this is oceanic crust. As it comes here, you can notice the magma comes and reaches the surface, lava. So you can see the lava will cool, solidify because it is erupting under the water. So it will solidify there only, becomes a rock like this. You can see it becomes a rock like this. Every time it grows like this, the volcano is growing, you can see. It keeps growing upwards like this, volcano, like this. You can notice. Every time the volcano erupts, it keeps growing like this. Slowly it comes above, volcanic island. Like St. Mary's Island, Hawaii, correct? Many islands are like this. Okay, so these are called as volcanic island or seamount. 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 Remember this, okay? Seamount. Because it has come above. Because of this exposure, the upper part is exposed, it looks like an island for us. So every day sunlight, water, wind, waves will break the rocks, weather the rocks. So after many years, only this much is left. The entire volcanic island mein, this portion, what will happen? Only this part will be left like this. Upper part has weathered. The upper part has weathered. Such places are called as guyot. Guyots. Guyots are flat-topped seamount. Flat-topped seamounts are called as guyot. G-U-Y-O-T. Guyot. Seamount volcanic islands, guyots. Like this. All of you notice how it looks. Okay. So there are a large number of seamounts and guyots on the ocean floor. Further, let's say this is the sea floor spreading. Remember our geomorphology class? Sea floor spreading. I told you our ocean floor is spreading out into two directions like this. Diverging boundaries. Whenever the diverging boundaries occur, what happens? The magma comes out, deposits on either side, forming oceanic ridges. Yes, very good. Oceanic ridges. Oceanic ridges on the ocean floor. Oceanic ridges. Paleomagnetism and all we have discussed. Correct. So this is the oceanic ridges now. Oceanic ridges on the ocean floor. So we have oceanic ridges, seamount guyots, ocean floor mein we have all this. Okay. In many places, the volcano, see here, magma comes up and most of the time the heat is emitted out, heat. So it's called as hydrothermal vent. Hydrothermal vent. Hydrothermal vents are those spots where large amount of heat comes out. Heat comes out from the vent. Vent is what? Opening. From the opening, heat is coming out into the water, directly added to the water. Hydro means what? Water. Thermal means what? Heat. Vent. Vent is opening. So on the ocean floor, there will be a lot of heat emitting vent. Gases, pyroclastic material, ash and all is added directly into the water. Okay. So there will be active volcanoes also. There will be vent emitting only the heat also. Hydrothermal vent on the ocean floor. So write down now, this diagram should be like this. Keep the book like this, sideways. Aisa. Write diagram, one full page you write. Remember, ocean water is saline. Saline means a lot of dissolved minerals. Dissolved minerals, correct, in the water. So that makes the water dense. So you take fresh water and salt water. Which is more denser? Salt water. Because it has more salt dissolved in it. Minerals dissolved in it. So saline water is denser than fresh water. Continental margin, sea margin means continental shelf, continental slope, continental rise. C stands for continental margin. Okay, I'll write here, just in case, otherwise we'll have doubt. Continental margin. Oceanic ridges, hydrothermal vent, abyssal plain. Spelling if you want, you ask me. Okay. So ocean water is saline, I was saying. lot of dissolved minerals, so it will be dense. So it will not allow the sunlight to penetrate deep. For example, imagine sunlight from the sun. Sun is our source of energy, natural source of energy. The sunlight falling on the ocean floor, on the ocean surface, is unable to enter deep into the water because of density of water. So only the upper part of the water, the sunlight will enter. See, notice the refraction surface here. All of you understand? The light entering this water undergoes refraction, bending. It can penetrate only up to the upper 200 meters maximum because of saline water. If it was fresh water, it would have gone up to 400 meters. 400 meters tak. Since it is saline water, dense, sunlight can penetrate only how much? 200 meters. That means below this 200 meters, sunlight can't penetrate. It becomes dark. So this upper part of the water is called as photic zone. Photic. Below this is called as aphotic. Is it clear? Aphotic, photic. Photic is the upper part of the water. Okay. In that, upper 50 meters is more clear. Upper 50 meters of the water is more clear. Next 150 meter is blur. So euphotic, dysphotic. Photic has two portions, euphotic, dysphotic. What is euphotic? Very clear zone of the water, 50 meters. Blur portion of the remaining is called as dysphotic, upper part. Below that is completely dark, dark zone. That means if you are going under the ocean, you can't see anything. You have to take the light source. It will be dark. So the reason submarines can't see. They use sonar for navigation. All of you understand what I am saying? Submarine, all of you understand what is submarine? Below the water. A vessel that can travel under the water. Submarine. Andar ja raha hai. Correct? There will be windows also on the sides. Can you see anything outside? You can't. You can't see anything. Got it? So they use sonar, sound navigation and ranging to navigate in the water. Can I continue? In the same topic, I have to add more information now. Oceanic ridges, all of you know, sea floor spreading. So all of you notice this, please. In the next topic, I will be covering topic called tides. Okay. In the tides class, I will tell you, tides are nothing but rise and fall of water due to gravitational pull of sun and moon. For now, you remember this much. Okay. Tides are nothing but rise and fall of water. Okay, I am not saying water quantity is increasing. I am saying only the water level will increase, decrease due to gravitational pull of sun and moon. All of you pay attention. Eyes on the board, please. All your eyes on the board. Notice this. Due to gravitational pull of sun and moon, the water level will increase. So then most of this coast will get submerged. Here, all of you. This part will get submerged here. A wala. Up to here. Up to here it will submerge. Because of the rise in water, this part will get submerged. So this is called as high tide. High tide. High tide, this part gets flooded. Also called as flood tide. High tide is also called as flood tide. Remember, because the coast gets flooded during high tide. During low tide, the water level comes back, retreats down, back to this much. This is low tide. Low tide means the water level comes down, back south, up to here. This is low tide. Low tide, water level comes back, decreases. High tide, water level goes up. High tide, coast will get flooded. Low tide, it comes down. So high tide is called as flood tide. Low tide is called as ebb tide, EBB. Okay, remember this. This zone, all of you notice this, please. This zone here, from here to here. Correct. During high tide, it gets flooded. During low tide, it gets exposed. This zone is called as intertidal zone. यहाँ से यहाँ तक क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Intertidal zone. Intertidal zone, also called as littoral zone. Littoral zone. So remember, littoral, Littoral. Littoral zone is a zone between high tide, low tide. Okay. Pay attention, don't write. Littoral zone हो गया आपको. Once we mark high tide, then we mark low tide. The average point, all of you notice this, please. The average point between high tide, low tide is called as MSL, mean sea level. Now you got it. Mean sea level is the midpoint of littoral zone. Okay. Mean means average. Sea level. So now all of you know, mean sea level is the datum reference for calculating altitude or depth. Let's say Mount Everest is 8,850 meters above sea level. Yeah, I can measure from here also. If I measure from here, Mount Everest will be 14,000, 15,000 meters. I'm not measuring from here, I'm measuring from a reference. Imagine I'm standing on this and I'm saying I'm taller than all of you. Can I say that? No. You would say, sir, you stand on the same level as we are. Then you measure. Datum, we need a reference for measuring height and depth. So this is the reference point. Datum, reference. So this is the point from where we measure. Like sea level in Chennai is taken as datum. National datum is measured from Chennai, Madras. Okay, from there we take the altitude of any place in India. Below sea level, from here, Mariana Trench. From where are we measuring? From here. Mariana Trench is also measured from here. Depth is also measured from the same datum, same reference. So mean sea level is a reference for calculating height or depth. Remember that. And it comes where? Between high tide and low tide. Okay, please remember this. So this is the reference, MSL, mean sea level I have marked. This is clear. Notice during the high tide, all of you pay attention, during the high tide up to here the water is coming here. Correct? All this is flooded. Agree? All of you see the board please. During high tide up to here the water is coming up. Entire thing is flooded. During low tide, water is here. Only water is here. This is exposed, correct? So this is on and off, wet and dry zone. During high tide, it gets wet. During low tide, it gets dry. This is where we have mangroves. Mangrove plants grow here. Think about this now. Mangroves grow in which belt? In this littoral zone. Like Sundarbans, we have. Correct? Baitarkanika wetland we have. This one. This is the zone. Littoral zone where we have what vegetation? Halophytes, mangroves, salt tolerant plants. Mangroves are found in this zone. Mangroves. Because for mangroves plants, they need wet and dry period, alternative wet, dry. Partly flooded, partly exposed. Partly flooded, exposed. So the salt tolerant plants, halophytes, grow here. In which zone? Littoral zone. During high tide, it gets flooded. During low tide, it gets exposed, aerated. Okay, but this zone you notice, this zone is always under water, whether high tide or low tide, this is always under water. Neritic zone. This is called as neritic. From here onwards, this zone is called as neritic. Please remember, littoral, neritic are the two zones of the shelf. What is neritic? Shallow submerged zone is called as neritic. N-E-R-E-T-I-C. I'll rewrite the spelling. N-E-R-E-T-I-C. Neritic. Neritic is a zone which is always under the water. Here we get coral polyps, coral reefs. Corals grow here. Okay, corals grow here in this region. So that is the reason they are neritic species. Corals are called as neritic. So whatever I am saying will be coming again in environment class. Environment class I will repeat. So, but here only you should realize, geography and environment has this connection. If you don't understand now, later I will explain also, you will forget. Otherwise, we will not understand the geography part here. In exam they will ask, corals are neritic species, they will ask. You will ask, what is this neritic? Neritic is the geography word here. Mangroves are littoral forest, tidal forest they call it as. Why they are called as tidal forest now you know? Because they are in the high tide, low tide zone. Mangroves are tidal forest. They are called as. See, exam mein aayega. Whatever I just said will come in the exam, then you will realize. Mangroves are tidal forest. Okay. Why? Because they grow in the intertidal zone between high tide, low tide. Mangrove plants. Whereas coral reefs are neritic. Because they always need water. Under the water. Species, submerged species, neritic. So, littoral and neritic are the two parts of the shelf. After the neritic, see here. After Neritic, this is all deep zone, deep ocean zone hai ye, deep ocean zone. Here, pelagic we call this. Pelagic, up to here, pelagic. If this is not there, if these two were not there, I would have said all this is pelagic. Okay, pelagic is a deep ocean zone. What is pelagic? Deep sea zone. Neritic is shallow water zone. Littoral is dry and wet zone. Tidal zone. Littoral. So if I start walking, let's say here, let's say I'm standing in the beach here. I'm walking towards the water. First I'll get what? Littoral zone. Then I'll get what? Neritic. After this is all pelagic. Pelagic, like that. Pelagic is a deep ocean zone. Big organisms live here, like whale. Whale will live here. Why? Because it requires a lot of depth. It's huge. Whale, sperm whale, blue whale, and all you have seen. Large marine cetaceans, dolphin, porpoises, whales, they require large space. More resources here. They live. Okay? That is then you have to see dolphin, you have to see porpoises, you have to go away from the coast in the boat. Then you will get to see here. Okay? Rarely they will come very close to the coast. They are always found where? Deep, away from the shelf. In the deep sea zone. Pelagic, all of you notice this. I'll use this color. This is called as upper pelagic, epipelagic, first one. Epipelagic zone. Further down, mesopelagic. Mesopelagic. Further down, bathyal pelagic. Bathyal means deep. Bathyal pelagic. This is called as abyssal pelagic. Abyssal pelagic. This is called as hadal pelagic. HADAL. There was hadal pelagic, abyssal pelagic, twice till now. Abyssal pelagic is a zone found in which of the following: surface ocean, mid ocean, deep ocean. Deep ocean. Deep ocean belt is called as abyssal pelagic zone. Okay. Here. Hadal pelagic is trench. Inside the trench also water is there. That zone is called as hadal. Hadal pelagic. Abyssal pelagic. Bathyal pelagic. Most of the marine food chain organisms, part of the marine food chain, marine ecosystem lives in epipelagic, mesopelagic. Because this is a warm water on the surface. Because sunlight reaches here. So phytoplanktons you might have heard of. Phytoplanktons, zooplanktons, small fish, large fish. All these are found in the upper part of the ocean. Highest biodiversity, marine biodiversity is found in which of the following? Epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathyal pelagic, abyssal pelagic. Epipelagic. Epipelagic is a zone where we have the most of the biodiversity, marine biodiversity. Marine food chain applies to this area mostly. Okay, as you come down, what happens? Sunlight is less, penetration is less, temperature decreases. Okay, salinity increases, more salt water. Because upper part, less salt will be dissolved. As you come down, more and more salt will be dissolved. The water gets more saline. Temperature becomes very less here. It becomes 4 degrees at the bottom. At the bottom of the ocean, what is the temperature? 4 degrees. Because that is the temperature at which the water is densest. The highest density of water is achieved at what temperature? 4 degrees Celsius. The water is densest at 4 degrees. So, यहाँ पे temperature कितना रहेगा? 4 degrees. Minus इरला. It will not be minus. It will not be in minus. It will be 4 degrees. Because water is densest at 4 degrees. So, many organisms will live near the hydrothermal vent. Because sunlight is not available here. The organisms, they look for heat. Correct. So, they look for hydrothermal vents where the heat is coming up. They go and live around that hydrothermal vent area. Okay. I'll tell you one interesting thing here. Near the hydrothermal vents here in the ocean floor, lot of minerals are there. Polymetallic nodules, we call it as polymetallic nodules. I'll write somewhere here. Polymetallic nodules means large chunks of minerals here are found here like this. On the ocean floor ke paas, we have minerals like this in large quantity like this. Like iron is there, cobalt is there, copper is there, lithium. Okay. Then we have gold, silver, correct. We have manganese, correct? Mn, CO is cobalt. Okay, like this, all these minerals, polymetallic minerals are found in here, ocean floor, on the ocean floor. So each of these are what metallic they are. Okay, so when they come in contact with the salt water here, so these with the salt water, correct? So what happens? Water is nothing but dihydrogen oxide. Water is dihydrogen oxide. So these are all metallic minerals. So what they do? So they carry out salt water electrolysis. Electrolysis of water they do. Electrolysis means what? It's a chemical reaction basically which splits the hydrogen molecules from oxygen. Electrolysis of water takes place. These polymetallic nodules in the ocean floor are responsible for electrolysis of salt water here and splits the hydrogen from oxygen like this. This is called as dark oxygen. This is called as dark oxygen. Dark oxygen ऐसा होता है. So salt water electrolysis means molecules are separated because small voltage is enough for this to happen. All these are metallic color. These are the minerals like lithium, you notice, like cobalt, you notice, copper, you notice. They are highly small voltage is available here already. So as a result, what they do, they interact with the water and try to split the molecules like this around the ocean floor here, creating oxygen called dark oxygen. Have you heard of this? Dark oxygen. Remember this, dark oxygen. That is the reason organisms can survive. Even if there is no oxygen here in many places, some organisms can survive because of this dark oxygen. Okay, please remember what is dark oxygen, you should know. Polymetallic nodules on the ocean floor are responsible for dark oxygen. So epipelagic, mesobathyal, abyssal, hedal pelagic. Complete the diagram now. This is called a stratification of the ocean. What is strata? Layers. Different layers of the ocean we are discussing. First see, littoral, neritic, pelagic. In this, we have covered so many. Underwater landforms also we have covered. Underwater, what all landforms we have? Trench, Guyot, Seamount, Oceanic ridges also. This also we have covered.